What's up, guys? If you hear a loud noise, it's the tumbler going. Super loud. You put it on the second floor and it rattles the ceiling. It doesn't really rattle, it's just kind of a vibration. From the title of the video, you know I'm going to do a macro of the Microtech Matrix right now, but I just want to show something first. It's the stonewash blade I did for the Delica. As you can see, I did not do the Delica long enough. I literally did it for like an hour or 1.5 hours. That's not nearly long enough. I let this clip go for about an hour and a half, but it's much smaller. And it turned out beautifully. This is probably the most beautiful stonewash I've seen on a pocket clip. It's actually a better stonewash than I've seen on a lot of things. I added more oil to the stones, and I also crushed about 10 of the stones so they had smaller pieces, and it actually got into all the nooks and crannies. As you can see, it got into every space on here, even the insides of the screw holes it got into. So I was really surprised, really stoked on this result. It's a huge change from stock. It's a pretty big difference. And again, this was just like an hour. Not a long tumble at all. At all. So I'm pretty stoked on that. I have a knife going right now, so I'm curious to see how that works out. I am going to start doing this for people. People that want sharpening jobs done and stonewash. I may just do stonewash and sharpening and all that stuff. So if you have an old beat up Delica or Stretch or Endura or any FRN Spyderco knife, I could pretty much clean it up, polish the mechanics, stonewash the blade, and clip and make it look like new again. So pretty excited about doing that. I can almost do like a spa treatment, just old beat up Spydercos. Anyway, the whole reason I'm doing this video is the Microtech Matrix. Before I do a review on it or a cut test or anything, I want to do a nice little macro video to just show the beauty of it, because it is a beautiful knife. Cranking up the brightness so you can see it very well. Just going to go over the knife. I guess I'll start on the blade. Excuse the fingerprints that are all over it. I have been fondling it, so I guess I'll start. Beautiful satin finish. I could really do without the stupid eagle claw on the blade. Oh God, I hate it. I absolutely hate that. The knife would be so classy without that. That is all the blade needs, and maybe Microtech written down the plunge line over here. That's all it needs. This huge stupid eagle claw. It's ridiculous. It looks like something a 14-year-old kid would think is really cool. Like, oh yeah, that's a super awesome eagle claw on your blade, but adults, not so much. It's like having skulls all over your pocket clips and stuff. It's just unnecessary. The only bit of damage on this knife is this little mark in this fuller. I think that's from people handling it at the knife store. Something else metal hitting it in here because it's kind of a dent. Don't like it, but it's literally the only flaw on the knife. You can see the nice satin flats up here. That's a beautiful finish, almost like cracked ice. If you're familiar with a cracked ice finish that Strider does, it's kind of reminiscent. Nice jimping up here. This jimping is very effective. Nice finish up top. Everything's finished really well. You can see how even those plunge lines are there. You can see the nice sculpted stop pin and how the blade actually wraps around the stop pin there. Beautiful carbon fiber. it has a nice kind of chatoyance to it. Almost like a jewel, a diamond or something. Very cool reflective properties. It's kind of funny how carbon fiber is a space-age material. It's actually kind of old now, but it's a material that was really, really high-tech and has really cool properties. It makes it awesome for applications like this, and crash cages for race cars and stuff. But it's also beautiful. It's just kind of ironic how some of the strongest and most unique materials on Earth are also the most beautiful. You can see the nice lines you get from the carbon fiber. It's the lanyard hole. I could do without that as well, but what can you do? There's the back spacer, which is beautiful in my opinion. Before anybody says or informs me like it's new news or something, I know this is a copy of the 777. I'm well aware of that. So please don't comment and tell me that like it's a news flash, because it's pretty well known by now. I'm not trying to be rude, but like 3 or 4 people informed me like it was new info. I just try not to hit on that. I don't get into the politics. Just like Cutlery Lover with that FU-42. He just wanted to get a knife and review it. And people that don't normally care about copies or all that kind of stuff, the processors in their computers are pretty much exact copies of other brands. Tons of things around your house are exact copies of other brands, other people's intellectual property, but they don't care until it comes to a knife, and they're all of a sudden crusaders for intellectual property and all that kind of stuff. It's just funny to me. It's the other side. I wish the front side was like this, just sterile, completely sterile. There's the beautiful lock bar. It looks hand rubbed to me. I'm not sure if it is, but it looks hand rubbed. No machining marks. You can see just the faintest little bit of machining down here. It's very faint. You can see how the pattern of the carbon fiber goes to the inside. It's just beautiful. Perfect lockup. Stainless steel locking insert, locks up at about 40%, and it's actually one of the most rock solid knives vertically and horizontally that I've ever handled. This knife has not even a bit of flex in it. You cannot flex any movement into it, and I was really surprised by that. Nice flat locking surface. I've been talking to Brad Southard. He was telling me he's going to make a video possibly tonight, talking about how radiused blade tangs can be good for frame locks and liner locks if they're done right. So he's pretty much saying that flat locking surfaces can be good and also can be bad. And he's saying radiused locking surfaces can be good and can be bad. So interested in seeing that video. He's a knife maker, so he knows what he's talking about generally. So yeah, should be good info. You can see the evenness of the plunge lines here. The blade is perfectly centered. What I mean by that is the edge is perfectly centered with the center line of the spine. A lot of knives that aren't ground correctly, you could draw a center line down the spine, and the edge down here would actually be to the left or right of that, just based on sloppy grinds. Lock up, no stick whatsoever. Give you some closed views of it. Gorgeous knife. Gorgeous, gorgeous knife. My only gripe with it is its off-centered blade. That is literally the only flaw that I can find. And I can deal with that. I'm not such a stickler for centered blades. Especially if you're a fan of the Spyderco military, then you know that you either like the military in spite of the off-center blades, or you just don't like it, period. I've owned many militaries, and I've only had a few that didn't have off-center blades once you tighten down the pivot. Guess I'll go ahead and show the action. Buttery smooth. Thanks to the bearing system, it is buttery smooth. It's also if you take the pressure off the lock bar, then the blade swings freely, and that's just due to the bearing system. It is does have a bearing system in the pivot. That carbon fiber, they just did it right. It is unbelievably smooth, and it just has a look to it that I've never seen in carbon fiber. I don't know if it's the quality of the carbon fiber that they're using, but it's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I don't foresee the lock ever wearing out, at least not in my lifetime, due to the steel locking insert. The blade came extremely sharp from the factory. No touch-up required. So Microtech has officially stopped making the Matrix. I don't know if it's due to the litigation between them and ZT. I can't really comment on that. It's all just conjecture. But I know for a fact they have quit making these. There will never be any more of these produced, ever. So it's kind of cool to own one. Nice, slim, perfect ergos. I don't want to turn this into a review, so I'm going to stop there. Super thin blade grind. It's going to cut extremely well. So there we go, guys. Microtech Matrix macro video. Let me know what you think.